And live from St. John's, this is The Flood on SJSPR.radio. We are a slightly sick meat on the Jatib.
And Alejandro Madero.
Here with your flash of news for the week of October 15th through 18th. What a short little tiny itty bitty week.
Oh, it's the second short week we've had because we already had we had last week, which was also a relatively short week. And now we have this week, which is also a short week. And we have a couple things going on this week that are going to be very, very fun.
But before that, Mr. Nobody from nowhere. Great old Oxford man. We got to talk about Gatsby.
Oh, it was amazing. I think it was amazing. You'll tell me you were in the audience, and Sixto went to our dress rehearsal. He went to watch it the night before. So everyone saw this thing for the first time. It was Wednesday night. Sixto was there Tuesday night with Miss Jackie Jiang also, and they were watching the show.
No, really.
And then for the first show, you were there.
Yes. Like, I knew that there were a lot of talented people there, but just everything about the production, the moment you walk in and
the beginning,
everything's decorated, seeing all your friends on stage, así como que I felt very like high school movie, going to watch a play with my friends, but then my friends are the actors.
I'll tell you what else was funny. You know, in the scene where I die, the moment where I die.
Of course I know.
Why it was either when I was dying or in the intermission when I was dancing with Jael. You guys were you guys had your phones on, just taking pictures of it like crazy. It was so funny.
I'll tell you what happened. I took out my phone. And because you were smiling and Jael was smiling and it was so cute. And then I turn around and suddenly everybody is like piled up on top of me like a cartoon with their phones out just staring.
Well, it did look like that. And that's why there's a point in time, if someone recorded it, where I tell Jael, like, Mom, look, there's phones, like, look at the table. And then that's when you notice that she starts laughing and I start laughing and we were both laughing. It was because of that. It was such a funny moment. Moving on. We had a couple things. Oh, right. I forgot to mention. We also had the gala, the Patron of the Arts event. It went great. It was so funny because a lot of us were not really expecting people to show up in like 1920s regalia and like super dressed fancy like this. When I tell you, some people went as far as to actually buy 1920s or at least obtain 1920s attire. There were people there who were like fully on out. The ladies with the flapper dresses and the guys with like either the double-breasted suits or like the things with like the things on the arms that look, like the whole thing. And a lot of like, I don't know what you call it in English, but la boina. You know what I'm talking about? Like the little, like the cap thing.
Sí.
A lot of that going on. It was so funny. It was so fun.
So silly.
So silly. All right, moving on. Okay, so we have a couple college quizzes going on this week.
Indeed we do.
As we get closer and closer to the due dates. Actually, today, we're recording and it's October 15th. Today, there's a due date, if I'm not wrong.
Okay.
Right?
Enough.
Some schools have an October 15th due date.
The Rhode Island School of Design is going to come and make a virtual appearance.
The University of Michigan is coming on Wednesday.
And then on Thursday, we have Boston College and Brown University.
And then lastly, on Friday, we have the George Washington University, which is coming over.
Yes, we do.
So, moving on, we also have a couple more things going on. We have a couple special events going on. We have a bake sale for the class of 2028 going on Wednesday afternoon.
And then on Thursday, we have a pep rally.
As the perfect segue onto our next segment, which is sports. There we go. So, on Tuesday, we have the mini boys and girls versus tennis versus Robinson playing a home game.
JV and varsity girls volleyball versus School Baby. That's a home game.
And youth boys and girls volleyball versus Stassi's home.
And then on Wednesday, we have JV girls volleyball versus Notre Dame. That's an away game.
Youth girls volleyball versus Antilles. That's a home game.
And then youth boys volleyball versus UHS. That's a home game.
And this all as a precursor to our tournament. We have the first tournament of the year, usually the biggest tournament of the year, which is the really big volleyball tournament. If they do it as they do it every other year, which I assume they are, this is going to be everyone all the way from, I believe it's all the way from mini, right? If I'm not wrong, all the way from mini up to varsity are playing this tournament. If you look over the window back here where you have it, you can see there's already a screen set up.
Oh,
we were walking by somewhere and we ran into Miss Jardine, me and a couple of friends, and we were like, "Is that for the tournament?" And then she was like, "Yes," and we were like, "Oh, this is gonna be crazy."
Setting up big for this year. It's always a lot of fun. You always run into all your friends. Hay piraguas, hay paradillas. It's a grand old time.
It's gonna be great. And that's going to happen on Thursday and on Friday. So we have 2 days of tournament. Actually, no, 3 days, because we also have Saturday, which is going to be when we'll have those finals, which normally take place at around like 10 p.m., but we don't mind being in here until 11:30 watching a volleyball game because we love watching our teams play.
Oh, don't we?
And that, of course, is why we have the pep rally on Thursday, which is when the tournament starts.
That's a wrap.
That's going to be...
A wrap.
That's going to be a wrap. Oh, no, it's not a wrap. We have one more thing. We have on Friday for parents, we have the coffee with the head of school.
Classic.
And with that, it's a wrap. This was the Flood on SJSPR.radio. We are your hosts, Alejandro Madero.
And Miranda, Jatib.
Thank you very much for watching and listening. Depending on what platform you're on, you can watch our episodes. We are releasing at the beginning of every week on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube now that we have video. Thank you very, very much. Have a wonderful week. Comments and opinions expressed in this podcast are subject to change depending on our recording schedule.
Don't take anything we say too seriously.